Hey guys, so my next getting to know me video, I hope you're not getting tired of these because I like making them, is going to be about some books that I like. I like a lot of books because I read a lot and I like a lot of series, but today I'm going to be talking to you about some specific books that I read. Some of them I read when I was younger and one of them I read recently, and they're really good. So I'm going to show them to you and tell you a little about them, and hopefully you will go out and read them. So the first book that I'm going to talk to you about is called Cornelia and the Audacious Escapades of the Somerset Sisters. It's a mouthful of a title, but it's a really good book. It's a young adult, or not young, yeah, obviously it's young adult. It's aimed towards like 10 to 12-year-olds, and it's not very thick. But I read it I got it from a book fair at my school, I think, and I read it and I loved it. And then I read it again and I keep reading it. Like, I keep going back to it, even though I'm older now than I was when I got it. It's about a little girl living in New York City, and she lives in this big apartment building, and her mother's like a famous pianist. So she's like kind of grown up in the shadow of her mother, and her father either died or isn't around or something. I don't exactly remember. But he was a famous pianist too. And this old lady moves in next door, and she's very rich, and so Cornelia goes over to like visit her, and the lady starts telling her stories about all these like wonderful adventures she had with her sisters growing up. And it's such a good book, and it's got such great stories, because there's the one big story, and then there's like the individual stories that the lady tells to Cornelia throughout the book. And I don't care if you're like 25 or 15 or like 8, read it. It's so good. It's a wonderful story, and I really like it. And I haven't read it in a while, and I should read it again because it's a great book. The next book that I'm going to talk to you about, I feel like I do this very formally. I should work on that. I just found this a couple of months ago and recently finished it. It's called Fangirl. And I know that the title might put you off just because it's called Fangirl, but don't let it do that to you. It's a really good book. I picked it up because I liked this color and I liked the spine, and it was called Fangirl. I'm like, okay, I should see what this is about. And it's about a girl who, she and her twin sister have grown up, and they've always been very close because their mother left them when they were very young. And they've been living with their dad, and he's a little like scatterbrained sometimes, and they've always been together. And they were big fans of this series called Simon Snow, which is kind of like a Harry Potter thing, but it's not Harry Potter. And so they were big into that fandom. They wrote fan fiction. They were really big fans. They read all the books. They'd seen all the movies, which sounds like me. Yes, I have written fan fiction. No, you cannot read it. It's not bad, but that's for another video. So it's time. So they grow up, and then they're gonna go off to college. And the one sister, whose name is Cather, and her sister's name is Catherine. Yeah. She's worried about going to college. She just wants to stay with her sister, but her sister wants to make new friends. And then obviously, like all good stories, she meets new people and makes friends, and it's so good. And you should totally read it because it's really good, and it's really, really funny, and it hit home a lot harder than I thought it was going to, because I am a fangirl, obviously, and I can be kind of like sticking to what I know and the people that I know, and not really very good at branching out. So this was a good book, and it taught me a lot about that it's okay to branch out and not be stuck in your little niche, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but branch out sometimes. It's good. So read it. It's good. It's thick, but it's a really fast read. So this is more for teenagers and college age people because it talks about sex. So if you're little, don't read this. The next book is Bloomability by Sharon Creech. I found this one summer. I was in my library and I had no idea what to read, and my mom was getting kind of frustrated at me, so she just picked this off of the top shelf and she's like, here you go, read it. So I read it, and I loved it. It's one of my favorite books of all time. And then I read this, and then I went on to read every other book Sharon Creech has written, and they're all good, but this one's my favorite. It's about a girl whose parents send her to her aunt and uncle. They run a boarding school in Switzerland, which is really cool. So they send her off to Switzerland to be with her aunt and uncle, and she gets to meet new friends, and it's a really great story, and it's about like growing up. So It's a good, like, elementary, middle. I read it in elementary school, but I always read higher than my reading level. So probably, like, a middle school book. But you should read it. It's good. It's not that thick. And the last book is Harriet the Spy. You may or may not have heard this book. They made it into a movie in, like, the 90s. I think Rosie O'Donnell was in it. But I got this for my birthday in elementary school from one of my friends. And it's such a great book. There's a sequel, but the sequel is not by the same person. And I didn't like the sequel as much as I liked the original. So, you should read the original. It's about a little girl living in New York. I like stories about New York. And she's a detective. And she likes to spy on people and learn things about them. And it does end up getting her into some trouble. But she makes it out in the end. And so I would recommend this to, I think elementary school age kids would like it. Also, middle schoolers would like it. I think high schoolers would like it. But probably not as much as, like, the younger kids, because it's about a younger girl. So, yeah. So those are some of the books, 3 of which I liked a lot when I was growing up, 1 of which I really like now. So if you have any questions about those, leave that in the comments. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and watch my old videos and subscribe so you can see my new videos and like and comment on those and just make me a generally happy person by doing things to my channel. Talk to me. I get lonely over here. That's it for me for today. I'll be back in 2 days with more covers, and if you don't like the covers or you want me to do a cover of something that you want me to do, just comment them and tell me, because I'm open to suggestions. I'm this close to running out of ideas for videos, so please help me out here. If you like these videos, tell me what you want me to do, and I'll make more. Bye.